my goodness. Well, it looks like, once again, we're dark. I'm gonna fix that in just a second. Unfortunately, somehow, we're not working as well as we were 2 seconds ago. So let's just bump us up a little bit. And we'll get us going. There we go. All right. Welcome back to the channel. I've been off for 2 weeks, and as you can see, that's a little better. As you can see, I'm in a boot. And unfortunately, being in this boot means that we've got to do some acceptance work, okay? Today we're going to be working on systems of balance and specifically working on core strength. So we want to have integration and organization when it comes to engaging with our systems of balance, because we want to remember that balance is not a static situation. It's not the ability to stand on one leg necessarily. It's the ability to be kind of knocked off your equilibrium and find your way back on. So if you need to sit during this session, I want to encourage you to sit. If you want to stand with me, I'm going to stand for part of it, and then we'll also be on the mat for part of it. And I see a couple of you jumping in, so I'd love to see where you're coming from, who you are. Thanks for rolling with me, getting back into the saddle, so to speak. For this workout, we're going to need a little resistance loop. Wow, it just feels like I haven't been here for a while, which is kind of the truth, but we're gonna be all right. A resistance loop of any level of tension. I've got a lighter one and kind of a medium heavier one. And then we're also going to need a single dumbbell, and for me, that is either gonna be a 10-pound or a 5-pound. So choose what you like, something you can hold in one hand. Maybe an 8 is also an option for you. And we're gonna be here for about 35 minutes, starting the clock right now. So let's get ready. Let's stand up at the edge of our mat. And we're just gonna try to find the most equal stance as possible. Clearly in a boot, that's not the easiest thing to do. So I'm gonna bend one knee so that I can have my hips nice and level. I want you to do what you need to do to find your hips nice and level, shoulders nice and level. And then we're gonna place our index fingers right in the crease of our hips, and we're gonna start to fold forward. So a deep fold forward, finding a reach through the crown of the head, and then a big stretch up to the sky, opening your hips in front, standing nice and tall. So deep fold forward, and then stretching nice and tall, reaching through the crown of the head. Good. We'll do 2 more like this. We're warming up the hips first so that we can have, a good deal of warmth in those hips, but also a sense of engagement through the muscles of our hip joint, which help very much. They're very useful within the context of balancing and finding balance. Let's do one more. All the way up to the top. Let's reach your arms overhead. Just want to lift those shoulders up to the ears for a moment and then draw them down into the back. And again, reaching up and pulling them down. And one more time, lift and pull them down. And then we're going to bring our hands down onto our knees, folding your hips, and let's just warm up the spine a little bit. So rounding your spine, curling your tail under, looking deep into your low abdominal region, and then lift your tail up, lift your head up, and extend your spine. Let's do that a couple more times, rounding. Just giving your lower back a little warm up, reaching, and last time, rounding. Good, and reaching all the way up. Good. Let's start to round, to roll all the way up to the top. And then just taking some plies to warm up our hips, knees, and ankles. I want you to bend your knees. Maybe it's a little, maybe it's a lot. We're just dropping our hips down to the ground and then pressing through the feet to stand up as tall as we can. Good. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Abby. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let's go ahead and bend and stretch a couple times. Good. Reach. I'm still getting my sea legs here. Back into the habit. Just a couple weeks off, and it's been like, wow. And clearly some things have been going on. I'll share a little bit more later. Let's do one more time. Bend a little, and straighten. Good. Let's make our way down onto hands and knees, so as carefully as you can. Go ahead and find your way down so that your hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. And we're gonna do a couple of cat-cows, but we're gonna do an off-center cat-cow. So let's take our right hand to the right edge of the mat, our left hand over to meet it, and then we're gonna round the spine, curling the tail under just like we did in standing, opening up your back. And then as you extend, look all the way over that right shoulder. See what you can see over on that side of the room. And again, round. Good, and reach. Beautiful, let's go one more time, round. Opening up your back, just looking for those tight spaces that need a little attention today. And reach. Good, we'll come through center. We're gonna walk over to the other side. And then repeat that, so rounding. You should feel one side of your torso shortening a little bit and the other side lengthening. I'm excited to see all the new subscribers coming in this week, especially with some of the new rebounding workouts that I put up. They're actually not new, they're new to the YouTube channel, but they're from my private library, and because I'm working on an injury right now, I'll be uploading a few more of those for the next couple Mondays until I'm ready to dive back in. Let's go one more time, round and arch. And you know I'm missing it desperately, right? Good. Come back into center and then take ourselves into a hands and knees position. We're gonna start to lift our leg. We wanna start to work on the muscles in the back of the leg. But we're not going to work on the lower back right now other than keeping it pretty supported. So let's extend your right leg back. Feel that your hip bones are both level to the ground. You're not turned up too high on one side or the other. Reaching through the crown of the head, and you're balanced on your hands and your opposite knee. And we're just going to lift that leg up to the level that doesn't collapse your low back. So it's just a lift up and then a touch down. We'll do that again, lifting up, touching down, just working right from your hip joint. Imagine just changing the level of your thigh bone. And then with your torso, you've got the front connection of your abdominals to your lower back, and also the sides of your waist, working to just keep everything really strong. Let's do 2. We're gonna go one more time, out, and touch down. Now from here, let's slide the leg out to the side. Whoops, bringing our elastics around with us. And we want to have this leg extended from the hip. You know this is one of my favorite stretches for the inner thigh. We're going to reach back and just take a nice long hinge at your hip, trying to get a little inner thigh stretch. I've walked my hands forward, and if you want to press your hips open, that's a great idea here. Reaching back and forward just about 4 times. Again, the stretches that we're doing are more to bring in a sense of mobility and circulation than they are to kind of like hold the stretch for a long period of time. We're not working on the splits right now. We're just warming up our hip joints, you know? Good. Nice to see both of you though. Glad you're here. Let's go one more time. Reaching back, reaching forward, coming back to center, and slide your right hand over to your left, and just bring that foot around and take a little forward stretch. Whatever you have today is fine. If it's just a little or a lot, just want to drop your weight of your hips down, open up those inner thighs. Good. Press through your hands, bring your leg back, and then let's come back to our hands and knees position and take the opposite leg back. Good, so find your hips nice and level to the ground, and then from here we're lifting that leg up and lower down. This one is a little heavier on this side. Lift it up. For those of you who are just tuning in, I do have a boot on. If you've watched previous videos, I did have a boot on last summer. It was on the other foot. I have not injured myself. Well, I have, but it's not because of exercise, unfortunately. I found out that I have a little something going on with the soles of my feet that I need to work on. So I'll share a little more information with that, but it's definitely a condition and not anything like I didn't do this through exercising, let's say. Last one. Good. And then let's slide it out to the side, and we'll take our stretches. Remember to put that heel out from your hip and just reach back. Big stretch out. Press your hips forward. Good. Reach it back. Tomorrow we're gonna get into some deeper, longer holding stretches. These ones for the first few minutes of our class are really just for those of you who need just a little extra juice in the joints to get going. That would be me. I feel like anybody who is in their midlife period, that's what works well for us, and certainly not everybody, but lots of folks that I know have realized that like just doing a little extra movement at the beginning of a more active session can mean the difference between pain and pleasure, you know? Good. Last one. Let's send that front leg forward, walk your hands over to the other side, and then just take your stretch. So with my foot, I'm allotted 3,000 steps a day. And the rest of the time I'm working with a crutch and a scooter, which is fun and arduous for sure. Let's come out of it. All right, come on down, and we're gonna go ahead and have a seat. And if you'd like to be cross-legged, that's wonderful. If you need to sit up on a cushion or a chair, that's okay too. I'd like you to gather your dumbbell, and if you have a couple of different options, let's go with the one that's just a little bit heavier for this exercise. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, I have some answers though, so at least we know what to do moving forward, which is a good thing. I feel like my YouTube channel for the past year has been like how to work with perimenopause, and maybe that's just what we are experiencing. So I'm gonna take that 10 pound and I'm gonna have it right at my chest. Now, if you're having a hard time sitting up in this cross-legged position, I want you to make it a little easier on yourself. Get in a chair or give yourself a cushion or a yoga block or something like that so there's not so much strain in your hips. But right now we're just gonna do a little overhead press. The purpose of this is to try to feel the strength of our spine as we sit upright. So nice and easy, just pressing the arms overhead. We're warming our shoulders up. Again, this weight isn't something that's gonna be so heavy that you feel like you're getting the hardest shoulder workout of your life. It's more just to give you a little resistance so you can reach up through the crown, so you can stretch up. Good. Yeah, the joint warm-ups they're definitely worth it. I'm not apologizing for that anymore, right? I'm gonna claim that space. Good. I always know when I'm working with somebody who doesn't work with folks who either have chronic illness or are in perimenopause or have some extra, injury considerations when the warm-up is fast and short. And so, that's okay. That's there for them, and for me, it's gonna be a little bit longer. Let's do 2 more. Good. Last one. Reach and lower. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and put this dumbbell to the side. We're gonna stay with our right knee bent, and I'd like you to take your left leg out to the side. Now, if you are seated in a chair, just make sure that you're not gonna fall over when you do this one. Otherwise, maybe, have your yoga block underneath you. But we're gonna do a little weight shift. And so we wanna have our weight right now as much as we can on both sits bones. Those are the bony little nodules underneath your pelvis. And then what we're gonna do is shift our weight into that right leg, and we're gonna reach all the way out so that this left hip comes up and off of the mat, and we're pushing down into that left foot. It's almost like we could come up on the knee. We're not going there just yet. So we want to shift over and then pull down and push that hip bone down into the ground as much as you can, that sits bone, and then reach up. Good. And pull. Yeah, Tracy, that's a good, one of the things that people aren't talking a ton about in perimenopause is the joint changes. They say joint pain, but they don't talk about all the conditions that come along with the fluctuating hormones and the drop in hormones. And so part of the foot issues I've been having are because of those things, and part of them is because of a bigger issue that's not, it's serious in that I have to change the way I'm thinking about working with my rehab, but I'll share more once I get a couple more confirmations. on what that is. Let's reach. Good. And last one. We're gonna reach up. Now from here, I want you to come down onto your elbow, and if on your elbow isn't okay, you can always lay all the way down onto your side for a little more support. And we're gonna just take our hand and place it on the hip. So right now, I'm elevated, almost like a side plank. Hopefully that leaf isn't in my face. That's kind of a given. There's always a leaf in the face. And then from here, we're gonna lift the leg up to hip height. I want you to feel your side hip muscle, side glute muscle, and then lower down. So we're gonna reach up and lower down, trying to stay nice and square, and touch. Good. So if you start to feel compression in your lower back, I want you to pretend there's a tiny little zipper along the front of your abdominal wall, and your tail is going to reach out to that heel, and the front of your lower abdominal is just going to pull up a little for a little more support. Just trying to smooth out the front and smooth out the back. Good. Let's go for 4 and 3, 2, good, and 1, and hold. Now pull the knee in and press it out. So we are working the leg. You're probably feeling your hip by now, but also remember that your support is happening through your torso. Good, big press back, pull it in, press it back. That's it. Pull it in, press it back. Good, we'll go for 3, reach it out, 2, and stretch, and last one, big stretch out, lower it down, push yourself up, and let's turn that leg out and just take a nice long reach to open up that side. Really good. Come on up through the center, and then we're gonna switch sides. So bend one knee and stand on the other leg. Start with both hip bones down as much as you can, and then just stretch. Again, it feels like you're gonna push your weight over to that hip, but you're just really trying to push down into that hip, and then pull back. Press. Try to get that other hip all the way down. It's not easy. Press. Good. Pull it down. And press. And this is just a really simple way of shifting your weight side to side, moving your body, getting the different pieces apart in parts to move. You know, when it comes to balance, it is really super important to try to find lots of engagement into weight shifting. Good, let's do one more here. We're gonna reach out, take that elbow down to the ground, bring your hand around to your hip, find that nice open position, lift the leg up, and touch it down. Good, lift it up and touch. That's it. Now, sometimes I feel a little congested on my back on this side or on my side hip, so I'm gonna reach that leg out a little longer. I'm not so concerned with how high it goes. I'm more thinking about the engagement that I'm able to feel through the side of my hip. So if I start feeling it up here, I just wanna try to lengthen that space out just a little bit more. Pushing down through this elbow, opening up, finding a little more support. That was it. That was the one that did it. Lifting the bottom ribs to the top ribs. That made a difference. Good. Let's go for 2. And 1 to hold. Bend and stretch. Pull it in and reach it out. Pulling in, reaching out. Good. Pulling in, reaching out. Pulling in, reaching out. Let's go for 4, 3, and 2. And we'll do one more. Reach it out long, place it down, lift up, and then find your way into that stretch. Take that oppositional stretch for the other side. Good work. All right, so we're gonna take it down into the mat in 1 second, but I wanna do one visual exercise that will help us with our balance. I'm excited to test it as we complete class. So again, find your cross-legged position, wiggle those hips out, use an elevation if you need to, lift your hips up. We're gonna take our thumbnail and put it right in front of your face at arm's length. So stretch your arms all the way out at shoulder height and look at that thumbnail. So that is gonna be your first focal point with both eyes. Your second focal point is gonna be something that's ideally 15 to 20 feet away. My Canada crew, I'm sorry, I don't know the meters, but ideally that, just a jump away that's farther, somewhere across the room, or at least if you don't have that much space in your room, something that's maybe very small but beyond your finger. And then we're gonna look back to the thumbnail and jump out to the place that's farther away. This is called jump convergence, and it's a good exercise for the eyes, which have a lot to do with our systems of balance, okay? So let's start by staring at that thumbnail. Of course, sitting tall, doing the best you can to support yourself. And then when we're ready, we're gonna jump to that space that's really far away, jump back to the thumbnail. When you jump with your focus, you wanna zoom in and really capture the image that you're looking at, and then right at your thumbnail. And again, jump away, and jump towards, jump away, and jump towards, jump away, and jump towards. One more time, jump away, and jump towards. Relax, blink your eyes, shake your head out. Let's take it down onto the mat. We're gonna take it nice and easy, and now's a good time also to have that lighter weight. If you can use that, 10 pounds again, wonderful. I'm gonna just bring a 5-pounder out. We'll only need 1 dumbbell. And of course you can use a soup can, or my friends in the UK who are teachers, they always talk about a tin of beans, and I thought that was very cute. So, I don't know, a tin of beans, a tin of beans. Let's take our hands on our hips. Let's rock the pelvis back, stretching out the low back, finding that connection with the mat, and then roll it forward. Good. And then roll. Oh, that's so funny. The thumbs up came on. Those MacBooks. I'm surprised it caught me from over there though. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Because the computer is in a different place when it used to do those other things. I've learned not to do the thumbs down though. Because that feels bad. I thought somebody was doing that to us for a while. Good. Forward. One more back, and then find a centered place with your pelvis, just like somebody plopped it all the way down. We want to use our abdominals to keep the rib cage heavy, to keep the hips heavy, and let's bring our arms down by your side. Start with your right leg, folding your knee into your chest, and then lower it down. We're working on that hip fold again. Left leg comes in, and lower it down. Now something I've been doing, which I actually didn't get organized enough to do today, but I regret it, is I've been putting an ankle weight on this other leg too, to kind of work the legs equally, because of course with the boot on, there's quite a bit of extra weight that I'm lifting up through that leg. So if anybody is doing a similar situation, just an idea is to try to balance both sides. We'll do one more each side. This is more for your hip mobility. And sometimes, you know, our brains can be like, this isn't doing anything, it's not exercise. This is absolutely doing something. Bring your right knee into your chest. Bring your left knee into your chest. See if you can do it without popping your belly up to the sky. So staying really, really supported. We're gonna keep the hips flexed. And now just alternate touching your heels to the ground. Good. If you find that your chest is getting really tight, sometimes reaching your hands up in a fist position, kind of like Superman to the ceiling, can be helpful. We're just alternating and trying to get a little activation through those core muscles. Yes. Good. Breathing nice and strong. Good. Let's go for 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and lower both feet down and rest all the way. All right, let's take that smaller weight. You might change your mind and want a heavier one after we do this one time, but I want you to just experience it. So I've got the weight in my left hand. With my right hand, I'm gonna make a fist, and my left hand is just slightly, or arm, excuse me, is slightly curved. It's not locked out in the elbow. There's a slight roundedness to it. So the exercise is focused on keeping our hips and our shoulders square and balanced to the ceiling as we take that arm, that single arm, as far out to the side as you can, and then bring it all the way back in. Now you're not dropping the weight down onto the side, you're gonna keep it connected. So it's a chest fly, but it's also something that is adding a significant amount of weight to a balanced position. In the event that it feels like impossible to keep your body balanced, then don't do this with a dumbbell. Instead, just do it with your own hand or something lighter, like a tin of beans. All right, ready? So we're gonna open it out. Right now we've got both feet on the ground. This is just a little short kind of warm up one, and then we're gonna up the ante for the next go round. Again, you want your hand to kind of land over the center of your chest, not necessarily the center of your neck or throat. And just notice how your weight wants to shift here. Good. Let's bring it up and then let's switch sides. So we'll make the fist on one side, the round on the other, open it up. It is not uncommon to feel less stable on one side versus the other. So if that's you, you just try to do your best to work with it as opposed to fighting it. Just nice and easy. That's it. And we'll do 2 more on this side. And if this felt like it was enough for you, then wonderful. You get to stay here today, and that is going to be the best choice you can make for yourself. However, if you want to up the ante a little bit, we're going to do the same thing with our arms and then bring our legs to tabletop. So we're working on our abdominals. You could cross your legs if you like. I like to keep mine side to side. And now the test comes as we bring our arm out to the side and bring it back up towards the chest. So nice and easy. Notice if your opposite side wants to lift, what can you do to keep that connection between, if you're working your left arm, it would be your right hip in the mat, your right shoulder in the mat. Breathing still. Let's go 2 more. And last one, bring it up through center and then carefully exchange the weight to your other hand. And then here we go on the other side. If you need a rest, you can take it in between, but we're only here for a short period of time, so we're gonna work through these variations. Nice and easy. Good. Ooh, this side's harder for me. I just feel like everything wants to rotate that way, so I'm gonna do a lot of work on pressing down. I'm focusing more on pressing down the left hip than I am on moving my right arm. Good, last 2. Oh, do we have it? Do we have it? Last one. And nice. All right, lower that weight down for a moment. Let's go into a little glute bridge. So arms down by your side, just open your hips, find the backs of your legs, fold to lower back down. We'll do that a couple times, reaching up, opening all the way down, lifting up, strong in your torso. And this is how we integrate a sense of support as we work in these different exercises. We'll go 4 and 3, 2, and last 1, and lower all the way down. All right, so you have an option to either upgrade your weight if you felt great about that. I'm gonna try with the 10-pound. I might change my mind afterwards. We can have those legs up. We're gonna do this 1 more round. Your third option, if you choose to do it, would be to extend your opposite leg nice and long, hovering above the floor. You don't have to do any of these. And then we're gonna try, to open it up and bring it back to center. So what you should feel with the increase of challenge, either through the shape or the weight, is that your torso muscles have to work a little harder to maintain the shape that you've created. Now, can you do this one without a weight? Absolutely. Good. 3. Pulling it up. I'm gonna roll over 2. Woo, all the way up. And last 1. All the way up to the center, bend your knees. Let's hug it in for a moment and find the other side. I hope this is feeling as fun of a challenge for you as it is for me. I have a different idea of fun than some people. All right, find your shapes, extend that leg out, open it up, oh, come back to the top. Yeah, this weight is almost too much for this side. Part of that is when you're working with a boot, you're absolutely working a little off center, even if you don't want to. Whee! always meet that challenge with a smile. Last one. Wow. Okay, so bend our knees. What did we learn out of that one? I learned that I have a little more work to do on this side of my body to get it to ground down. Let's do a couple more bridges to just balance ourselves out. This time we're gonna lift up, lower halfway down, lift all the way up, and lower all the way down. So we'll go up, halfway, all the way, lower down. Up, halfway, all the way, lower down. Good. Up, halfway, all the way, lower down, and up, halfway, all the way. Good, 4 more like this. Up, halfway down, all the way up, lower down, and again, halfway down, all the way, lower to the mat. Last 2, halfway down, pressing up, lower down, last one, up, halfway down, lifting up, and lower all the way down. Really nice. All right, before we come back up to standing, let's go ahead and find our opposite hand. If you held your right arm out in front with your thumb up, this time I want you to do your left hand. Look at that thumbnail, and then from here, we're gonna go ahead and take our hand out, just like we did with the weight, as far to the side as you can, keeping your focus on your thumbnail with your eyeballs, but for this one, try not to turn your head, okay? So here we go. The thumb goes out to the side. I'm peeking, and still have my focus. As soon as I start to lose focus of that thumbnail, I'm gonna stop the movement, and I'm gonna bring it back to center. This is a nice, easy eye drill. For some of us, it makes us feel, honestly, like a little dizzy when we do it, but often when we stand up, afterwards we feel a little more put together because we've kind of awoken. We have activated our eyes. Good, let's do one more here. Nice thing to do before you get out of bed in the morning, kind of get everything online. Blink, 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 and then let's take the right thumb up to the ceiling, and then as you take that right arm out, you look with your eyes, but try not to turn your head. I'm certain that if I watch this video back, I'll see my head turn a little bit, but for the time being, it is just important to keep those eyes moving as much as possible. Kind of the same idea as we just did before, keeping your head grounded while you move your eyes to the side. Good. Woo, it sounds like we're just at our 35-minute mark, which is what I'm trying to hold true to. Last one. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead. Blink your eyes open, slide your feet away, roll yourself all the way up. Let's come up carefully to standing. Good. Oh, all right. Tracy, you don't want to do it because it's hard or because it hurts? That would be my question. All right, so we've gone through all of these different standing exercises. Now to finish, of course, it's going to be a little different for me on both feet, but to finish, we just want to see like how easy is it for us to stand on one leg. This one's a little harder, and pick up a foot. How easy it is it for us to shift our weight and find that sense of groundedness through our feet. So what's interesting about this is a lot of times when you teach your spine to support itself, and when you move your legs and you get your core just even integrated the tiniest bit and you wake up your eyes, suddenly you've got this whole paradigm that brings your body into a place where it's much more ready to balance. Balance is not necessarily a skill set. It's more of a kind of system thing that is supported by our inner ear and our eyes and our muscles and, of course, our skeleton and our balance. So I hope that this one served you well today. Oh, I see. Yeah, Tracy, I get you. I get you. You wanted to balance it out. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I hope this one served you well today. Stay tuned. Come back tomorrow for a full body stretch. Again, look for another cardio class on Monday. Your well wishes are really welcome as we navigate through This foot, the healing process is going much faster this time, which is great. Sorry to be vague about everything. I don't want to report on anything before I have the confirmation for the doctors. So, you know, I'll share more about it when we get there. So in the meantime, share this class with a friend who you think would enjoy it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Everything counts. We're so close to reaching a landmark of both subscribers as well as watch hours, so that's amazing. So I'm super excited for that to come. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for being here. Thanks, good to see you again. I'm happy to be back. Happy to be back. Not happy to be limping, but you know, it is what it is. All right, have a great day.